me 10 seconds.
Yes.
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kalamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Can you put on the screen, Prabhu? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Panakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminitti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacharya Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. 1 second. Vivek, Prabhu, can you read? Are you free? Okay, I can read the first one. Kamaistaistaihritagyana prapadyante nyadevata tam tam niyamam asthaya prakritya niyatasvaya. Kamai by desires, tai by those, rita distorted, gyanaha knowledge, prapadyante surrender, anya other, devata demigods, tam that, niyamam rules, ashtaya following, prakritya by nature, niyataha controls, vaya by their own. Translation. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow their particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Purport. Those who are freed from all material contamination surrender unto the Supreme Lord and engage in his devotional service. As long as the material contamination is not completely washed off, they are by nature non-devotees. But even those who have material desires and who resort to the Supreme Lord are not so much attracted by external nature. Because of approaching the right goal, they soon become free from all material lust. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is recommended that whether one is free from all material desires, or is full of material desires, or desires liberation from material contamination, or is a pure devotee and has no desires for material sense gratification, he should in all cases surrender to Vasudeva and worship him. It is said in the Bhagavatam that less intelligent people who have lost their spiritual sense take shelter of demigods for immediate fulfillment of material desires. Generally, such people do not go to the Supreme Person of Godhead because they are in particular modes of nature, ignorance, and passion, and therefore worship various demigods. Following the rules and regulations of worship, they are satisfied. The worshippers of demigods are motivated by small desires and do not know how to reach the supreme goal. But the devotee of the Supreme Lord is not misguided, because in Vedic literature there are recommendations for worshipping different gods for different purposes. A deceased man is recommended to worship the sun. Those who are not devotees of the Lord think that for certain purposes demigods are better than the Supreme Lord. But a pure devotee knows that the Supreme Lord Krishna is the master of all. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that only the Supreme Person of Godhead, Krishna, is master and all others are servants. Therefore, a pure devotee never goes to demigods for satisfaction of his material needs. He depends on the Supreme Lord, and the pure devotee is satisfied with whatever he gives. Haribol. Vivek Prabhu, are you there? Can you read? We can read one more. यो यो यां यां तनुं भक्ता श्रद्धायार्चितुमिच्छति तस्या श्रद्धं तं एव विददाम्यहम्. Yaha tat yam which tanum form of the demigods bhaktaha devotee shraddaya with faith architum to worship ichati desires tasya of that achalam steady shraddam faith tam him eva surely vidadami give aham I. Translation: I am in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship the demigods, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to some particular deity. God has given independence to everyone. Therefore, if a person desires to have material enjoyment and wants very sincerely to have such facilities from the material demigods, the Supreme Lord, as super soul in everyone's heart, understands and gives facilities to such persons. As the Supreme Father of all living entities, he does not interfere with their independence, but gives all facilities so that they can fulfill their material desires. Some may ask why the all powerful God gives facilities to the living entities for enjoying this material world and so lets them fall into the trap of the illusory energy. The answer is that if the Supreme Lord as Super Soul does not give such facilities, then there is no meaning to independence. Therefore, he gives everyone full independence, whatever one likes. But his ultimate instruction we find in the Bhagavad Gita: man should give up all other engagements and fully surrender unto him. That will make man happy. Both the living entity and the demigods are subordinate to the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the living entity cannot worship the demigods by his own desire, nor can the demigod bestow any benediction without the supreme will. As it is said, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Generally, persons who are distressed in the material world go to the demigods as they are advised in the Vedic literature. A person wanting some particular thing may worship such and such a demigod. For example, deceased person is recommended to worship the sun god. A person wanting education may worship the goddess of learning, Saraswati, and a person wanting a beautiful wife may worship the goddess Uma, the wife of Lord Shiva, the wife of Lord Shiva. In this way, there are recommendations in the Shastras, Vedic scriptures, for different modes of worship of different demigods. And because a particular living entity wants to enjoy a particular material facility, the Lord inspires him with a strong desire to achieve that benediction from that particular demigod, and so he successfully receives the benediction. The particular mode of the devotional attitude of the living entity toward a particular type of demigod is also arranged by the Supreme Lord. The demigods cannot infuse the living entity with such an affinity, but because he is the Supreme Lord or the Super Soul who is present in the heart of all living entities, Krishna gives impetus to man to worship certain demigods. The demigods are actually different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord, therefore, they have no independence. In the Vedic literature, Taittiriya Upanishad, first Anuvaka, it is stated: the Supreme Person of Godhead, as Super Soul, is also present within the heart of the demigod. Therefore, he arranges through the demigod to fulfill the desire of the living entity. But both the demigod and the living entity are dependent on the Supreme Will. They are not independent. Prabhu. Okay, Vivek Prabhu, are you?
Very well. Let's prove. I can read.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, bro. Satya Shraddhaya Yuktastasya Radhanam Ithe Labate cha tatha kaman mayaiva hihitan synonyms. Saha he daya with that shraddhaya with faith yuktha endowed tasya his aradhanam worship hite seeks labate obtains cha and tatha from which kaman desires maya by me eva alone vihitan regulated high for than those translation endowed with such a faith he seeks favors of a particular demigod and obtains his desires but in actuality these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Purport. Vishnu Prabhupada. The demigods cannot award benediction to the devotees without the permission of the Supreme Lord. The living entity may forget that everything is the property of the Supreme Lord, but the demigods do not forget. So the worship of demigods and achievement of desired results are not due to the demigods but to the supreme personative Godhead. Scroll through. Okay. By arrangement, got it. By arrangement, the less intelligent living entity does not know this, and therefore he foolishly goes to the demigods for some benefit. But the pure devotee, when in need of something, prays only to the Supreme Lord, asking for material benefit. However, it is not a sign of a pure devotee. A living entity goes to the demigods usually because he is mad to fulfill his lust. This happens when something undo is desired by the living entity and the Lord himself Lord himself does not fulfill the desire. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that one who worships the Supreme Lord and at the same time desires material enjoyment is contradictory in his desires. Develop a devotion service of the Supreme Lord and the worship of a demigod cannot be on the same platform because worship of a demigod is material and devotion service to the Supreme Lord is completely spiritual. For the living entity who desires to return to Godhead, material desires are impediments. A pure devotee of the Lord is therefore not awarded the material benefits desired by less intelligent living entities who prefer to worship demigods of the material world rather than engage in devotion service of the Supreme Lord. Text 23. Uh, Antavat tu phalam tesham tadbhavate alapamedasham devan devaya joyanti madbhaktayanti mamapi. Synonyms. Antvanta. Antvata. Antvata. 2. Limited and temporary. Phalam, fruits, tesham, there, that, bhavati, becomes, alpa medasham, of those of material intelligence, devan, demigods, planets, deva, yajna, worshippers of demigods, yanti, achieve, mat, my, bhakta, devotees, yanti, attain, mam, unto me, api, surely. Translation. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Purport. Vishnu Prabhupada. Some commentators on the Gita say that one who worships a demigod can reach the Supreme Lord. But here it is clearly stated that the worshippers of demigod go to the different planetary systems where various demigods are situated. Just as a worshipper of the sun achieves the sun, or a worshipper of a demigod of the moon achieves the moon. Similarly, if anyone wants to worship a demigod like Indra, he can attain that particular god's planet. It is not that everyone, regardless of whatever demigod is worshipped, will reach the supreme personality of Godhead. That is denied here, for it is clearly stated that the worshippers of demigods go to different planets in the material world, but the devotee of the supreme lord goes directly to the supreme planet of the supreme planet of the personality of Godhead. Here the point may be raised that if the demigods are different parts of the body of the supreme lord, then the same end should be achieved by worshipping them. However, worshippers of the demigods are less intelligent because they don't know to what part of the body food must be supplied. Some of them are so foolish that they claim that there are so many parts and parts, many parts and many ways to supply food. This isn't very sanguine. Can anyone supply food to the body through the ears or eyes? They do not know that these demigods are different parts of the universal body of the Supreme Lord, and in their ignorance, they believe that each and every demigod is a separate god and a competitor of the Supreme Lord. Not only are demigods parts of the Supreme Lord, but ordinary living entities are also. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the Brahmanas are the head of the Supreme Lord, the Kshatriyas are the arms, etc., and that all serve different functions regardless of the situation. If one knows that both the demigods and himself are part and partial of the Supreme Lord, his knowledge is perfect. But if he does not understand this, he achieves different planets where the demigods reside. This is not the same destination the devotee reaches. The results achieved by the demigods' main actions are appreciable, because within this material world, the planets, the demigods, and their worshippers are all perishable. Therefore, it is clearly stated in this verse that all results achieved by worshipping demigods are perishable, and therefore such worship is performed by the less intelligent living entity, because the pure devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness in devotion service of the Supreme Lord achieves eternal blissful existence, that is full of knowledge, his achievements and those of the common worshipper of the demigods are different. The pros. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. His favor is unlimited. His mercy is unlimited. Therefore, the mercy of the Supreme Lord upon his pure devotees is unlimited.
Haribo. Okay, one more.
Haribo. Okay, Haribo. Text 24. Avyaktam vyaktitam appanam मन्यन्ते माम अबुद्धया परम भावम अजनन्तो मम व्याव्यम अनुत्तमम. Synonyms: avyaktam, unmanifested; vyaktim, personality; appanam, achieved; manyate, think; mam, unto me; abuddhaya, less intelligent; persons; param, supreme; bhavam, state of being; ajantatha, without knowing; mam, my; avyayam, imperishable; anuttamam, the finest. Translation: unintelligent unintelligent men who know me not, think that I have assumed this form and personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is changeless and supreme. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Those who are worshippers of demigods have been described as less intelligent persons. And here the impersonalists are similarly described. Lord Krishna in his personal form is here speaking before Arjuna, and still due to ignorance, impersonalists argue that the Supreme Lord and ultimately has no form. Yamanacharya, a great devotee of the Lord and disciple succession Acharya, has written two very appropriate verses in this connection. He says, "My dear Lord, devotees like Vyasadeva and Narada know you to be the personality of Godhead. By understanding different Vedic literatures, one can come to know your characteristics, your form, and your activities, and one can those understand that you are the supreme personality of Godhead. But those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, the demons, the non-devotees, cannot understand you. They are unable to understand you. However, expert such non-devotees may be in discussing Vedanta and the Upanishads and other Vedic literatures. It is it is not possible for them to understand the personality of Godhead. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the personality of Godhead cannot be understood simply by study of the Vedanta literature. Only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord can the personality of the Supreme be known. Therefore, in this verse, it is clearly stated that not only the worshippers of the demigods are less intelligent, but those non-devotees who are engaged in Vedanta and speculation on Vedic literatures without any tinge of true Krishna consciousness are also less intelligent, and for them it is not possible to understand God's personal nature. Persons who are under the impression that the supreme absolute truth is impersonal or described as asuras, which means one who does not know the ultimate feature of the absolute truth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that supreme realization begins from the impersonal Brahman and then rises to the localized supersoul. But the ultimate word in the in the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead. Modern impersonalists are still less intelligent. For they do not even follow their great predecessors, Shankaracharya, who has sorry who has specifically stated that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Impersonalists, therefore, not knowing the supreme truth, think Krishna to be only the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, or a prince or a powerful living entity. This is also condemned in Bhagavad Gita. Only the fools, rascals, sorry, only the fools regard me as the ordinary person. The fact is that no one can understand Krishna without rendering devotional service and without developing Krishna consciousness. The Gita confirms this. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, or his form, quality, or name simply by mental speculation or by discussing Vedic literature. One must understand him by devotional service. When one is when one is fully when one is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, beginning by chanting the Mahamantra Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, then only can one understand the supreme absolute sorry then one only can one understand the supreme personality of Godhead. Non-devotee impersonalists think that Krishna has a body made of this material nature, and that all his activities, his form and activity, everything are Maya. These impersonalists are known as Mayavadi. They do not know the ultimate truth. The 12th verse clearly states, those who are blinded by lusty desires and surrender unto the different demigods. It is accepted that besides the supreme personality of Godhead, there are demigods who have their different planets. Bhagavad Gita 7.23. And the Lord also has a planet in it. Sorry, planet. It is also stated that the worshippers. Oh, oh, one line last. Oh, okay. stated that the worshippers of the demigods go to the different planets of the demigods, and those who are devotees of the Lord Krishna go to the Krishna Loka planet. Although this is clearly stated, the foolish person is still maintain that the Lord is formless, and that these forms are impositions. From the study of the Gita, does it appear that the demigods and their abodes are impersonal? Clearly, neither the demigods nor Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, are impersonal. They are all persons. The Lord Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead, and he has his own planet, and the demigods have theirs. Therefore, the monistic conten- contention that ultimately truth is formless and that form is imposed does not hold true. It is clearly stated here that it is not imposed. 1 minute रुको. हाँ ये गाड़ी सोडा लेते हैं नहीं इथे आहे ना 3 जण बेसिक कोण कोण तो पाणीचे टँकी आहे ना केसरेकर हां 5 रुपये क्या हां तिथे सोडे म्हणे ते याने हुणसूर रेन बदली जातात गेंडे हो होऊन दे गाडी चेक की मग ऍक्टिव्हाची हो मामी विचारात देतात तेव्हा. Okay. From the Gita, we can clearly understand that the forms of the demigods and the forms of the Supreme Personality, Supreme Lord, are simultaneously existing, and that Lord Krishna is Sachidananda, eternal blissful knowledge. The Vedas also confirms that the Supreme Absolute Truth is Anandamaya, or full of blissful pleasure, and that He is Abhayas, Abhayasat, by nature the reservoir of unlimited auspicious qualities. And in the Gita, the Lord says that although he is Aja, unborn, and he still appears. These are थोडं आहे नको इथेच पुढे ना कडे पाणीचे टँक मामा ठोक कडे पाणीचे टँक तुम्हाला ठोक मामा चढा 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 बापू प्रभु you can read मोबाईल तुरे आण तू पहिले तो.
Yes, Prabhu. These are the facts that we should understand from the Gita. We cannot understand how the Supreme Person of Godhead can be impersonal. The imposition theory of the impersonalist monist is false as far as the statements of the Gita are concerned. It is clear herein that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Lord Krishna, has both form and personality. Haribol. Okay, now we read the Jet Prabhu arrived again. Yes, Prabhu. I think we need to read 6 Astakam prayers if Jet Prabhu is not gonna read Bhagavad Gita for us. Okay, Haribo.
I can listen but not read, sorry.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, let's read this 6 Astakam prayer. Then I will offer the potato. चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहातावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्. नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस् तत्रार्पितानि अमिता स्मरणेन काला एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन्ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशमिह जानिनानुरागः त्रिनादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना मानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीया सदा हरि नतनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितं वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि नैनन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजास्थितधूले सदृशं विचिन्तया नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदारुदया गिरा पुलकर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम गृहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविर्शायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे अश्लिष्यवापादरतं पिनष्टु मामदर्शनान्मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विधाता तुलम्पतो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Oh, yes, Vivek Prabhu, you can read this one.
Glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditioned life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtana moment is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life and of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus we and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energy. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord. Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful woman, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
Sorry, Prabhu, I can now. O son of Maharajananda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my speech acquainted with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separations, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Haribol, 3 6.
Jai.
First offense to the holy name is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or to be independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu.
Third offense, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
And considering an ordinary person.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Fourth one, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in the persuasion in the Vedic version.
Fifth offense, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
Sixth offense, to give some mundane interpretations to the holy name of the Lord.
Seventh offense, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
Eighth offense, to consider chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
Ninth offense, to instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
Tenth offense, to not have complete faith in the chanting of holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. One, let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are just like a desired trees who can fulfill all desires and are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vancha kalpataru vrishcha kripa sindhudeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Ananda Gaudiya Vaishnava ki jai,
Go.
Shabda ki jai, Nitai Gaura
Jai.
Prem.
Jai. Hare Hare Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
This was really nice.
Thank you so much, devotees.